Sometimes we might want to ask ourselves, is my heart right? Is my heart right with God? Is my mind right with God? Do I think right? Do I feel right? Do I love right? Do I think right with God? Do I look at that other individual and think, I feel sorry for that individual, and I want to do something to help them? Brother Todd this morning talked about, helping one another and your neighbor and your family. And do I know my neighbor? And if I know my neighbor, if I don't know my neighbor, will I still help my neighbor? If I know that something's wrong and that neighbor needs help. Well, that's the Jesus way. Jesus, said to love one another as you love yourself. The Apostle John said in his last days, when he told the children, little children, just love each other. And we find that so hard to do sometimes in this day and age. Like Brother Todd said, my neighbor is Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. My neighbor is Osama bin Laden. My neighbor is, whoever. So, God, do you want me to love them? God, do you want me to be good to them? Do you want me to sustain them? Do you want me to supply things for them? Do you want me to show them love? Do you want me, Well, that's what Christ wanted. And it's very, very tough. Very, very hard. Because I know and run into people all through my work week that talk about this one down here and this one up here, and why I wouldn't do nothing for them down there, and or that no good, dirty, whatever. Hell no. And I think to myself, if you only knew and understood, I don't care what they've done. I don't care how bad they've been. I don't care what they've done or what they've said or whatever. You're on the wrong track. You've got to step back and look and say, look, this is a child of God. I don't care what they've done, but you're going to have to get right with God, and you're going to have to change your ways of thinking. And you're going to have to bless that person and say, Lord, Jesus, help them. Help them to change their ways and their attitude and their mind, change their heart, and bring them back to you. That's our goal. That's what the gospel's for. Just like Brother Todd said this morning, that's the whole gospel of Jesus Christ, is to bring us back, to teach us as Jesus wanted us to be taught, and how the apostles taught, preached, teached all through the years of their teaching and preaching, all through the first century, and how they all met martyrdom, and how they met their deaths, up all the way to the time of their deaths. They taught and preached the gospel of Jesus. And there was only two of them that didn't meet a martyrdom death, and that was Matthew and John. But most of them did. But they're saints. They're with the Lord. Apostle Paul said, to be absent from the body is to be in the presence of the Lord. So that tells me that at the time of my passing, though my body still be here on earth, in the grave, my spirit, my new spirit body will be before God in heaven. And that's what he said. There'll be no more nothingness, that I won't be laying in the grave and waiting until Christ comes back sometime later on when he wipes out the enemy. Then that goes through a resurrection. But I would be in the presence of the Lord. And if I'm fortunate,